Over the past 3 years, a strange and troubling phenomenon has taken root along the coasts of Spain and Portugal. Boats have been rammed, rudders destroyed, and in some cases, entire vessels have sunk. But this isn't the work of storms or pirates, it's being carried out by orcas, also known as killer whales. These highly intelligent and graceful creatures, long admired for their beauty and social complexity, have suddenly become the focus of a growing enigma. Why are they attacking boats? Is it anger? Curiosity? Or perhaps a response to something deeper and more profound? Since May 2020, over 500 documented encounters between orcas and boats have occurred near the Strait of Gibraltar, where the Atlantic meets the Mediterranean. The frequency and consistency of these events have alarmed researchers, sailors, and conservationists alike. The attacks are anything but random, they follow a clear pattern: deliberate strikes aimed at rudders. In many cases, orcas disable a boat's steering system within minutes, leaving it drifting helplessly. At least 3 vessels have sunk, and dozens more required rescue and major repairs. Witnesses and video footage describe orcas approaching boats from multiple angles, working in coordination to strike, retreat, and strike again. The behavior is systematic, calculated, and efficient. Even more concerning, similar incidents have now been reported beyond Gibraltar, including as far north as France and west to the Azores. This suggests the behavior is no longer localized, but may be spreading through orca populations. So what's behind this? Are orcas communicating something? Could this be learned behavior shared within pods? One name stands out in this mystery: White Gladys. White Gladys is a mature female orca believed to have initiated this phenomenon. Researchers suspect she may have experienced a traumatic encounter with humans, perhaps becoming entangled in fishing nets or suffering a collision with a boat. Visible scars on her body support this theory. Following her injury, she began deliberately targeting boats, especially rudders. At first, scientists thought it was a stress response or defensive behavior. But what began as an individual reaction may have sparked something much larger. Orcas are not only intelligent, they're socially sophisticated. They live in close-knit family units called pods, led by matriarchs. Within these groups, behavior and knowledge are passed down, generation after generation. Juvenile orcas often imitate older members, especially dominant females like White Gladys. If her actions were observed and mimicked by others, boat ramming may now be a cultural behavior embedded within her pod. Cultural transmission is well documented among orcas. Different pods speak different dialects, use distinct hunting methods, and even have unique play habits. If boat attacks are now part of White Gladys's pod culture, it would explain the spread and consistency of this alarming behavior. What started as trauma may have evolved into tradition, a learned and inherited response that's reshaping the relationship between orcas and humans. Still, not all scientists believe trauma is the root cause. Another leading theory suggests the orcas might not be attacking at all, they may simply be playing. Orcas are famously playful and curious. In the wild, they've been seen rubbing their bodies on pebbled beaches for apparent enjoyment, or carrying objects for no clear reason. In 1987, researchers observed orcas wearing dead salmon on their heads like hats, a peculiar trend that spread across pods before fading away. These behaviors suggest orcas, like humans, seek novelty and entertainment. So what if a spinning rudder is just an underwater toy to a young orca? The vibration, the movement, and resistance might be fascinating stimuli, especially for juveniles still exploring their environment. The problem is, a fully grown male orca can weigh up to 12,000 pounds, 5,400 kilograms. Even a playful bump from such a massive creature can devastate a small sailboat. And with orcas being such fast learners, a fun experiment by one young whale can quickly become a shared behavior among many. So, is this a game or a signal of a deeper shift in orca behavior? Another explanation lies in something more primal: competition for resources. In the Iberian region, Orcas depend heavily on Atlantic bluefin tuna, a powerful, fast-swimming fish also highly sought after by human fishing fleets. With overfishing on the rise, tuna populations have declined, leading to increased competition between humans and orcas. From the orcas' perspective, boats may represent rival predators invading their hunting grounds and depleting their food supply. In this context, attacking a boat could be a territorial act, a warning. This is our domain. This isn't unprecedented. Around the world, apex predators such as lions, wolves, and bears have displayed increased aggression when their habitats shrink and resources become scarce. Given Orcas' intelligence, it's not unreasonable to think they've made the connection between boats and the disappearance of prey. But the pressure on Orcas doesn't stop at food scarcity. The oceans are changing, fast and not for the better. Once a vast and relatively quiet realm, the sea is now filled with noise, from cargo ships, fishing vessels, sonar devices, and coastal construction. Orcas rely heavily on echolocation to navigate, hunt, and communicate. Underwater noise pollution can seriously disrupt these activities, causing confusion, stress, and sometimes aggression. Imagine having your primary sense hearing constantly bombarded with noise. Studies show that prolonged exposure to such environments can alter animal behavior and physiology. Combined with shrinking food sources and habitat loss, this noise pollution could be pushing orcas to the edge. In this view, boat attacks may not be acts of aggression, but desperate responses to a chaotic and degrading environment. The boat becomes a symbol not just of physical presence, but of the growing imbalance in their world. So what are we truly witnessing? Is it trauma, play, stress, or protest? Some have even suggested revenge, though that word is heavy with human emotion. It's easy to project our feelings onto animals we don't fully understand. But we do know this: orcas are not mindless predators. They are among the most intelligent, emotionally aware beings on the planet. They mourn their dead. They maintain family bonds. They learn, adapt, and communicate in complex ways. When a specific behavior like rudder striking becomes widespread and repeated, it should not be dismissed as random. Whether these actions stem from defense, frustration, curiosity, or culture, one thing is clear: they carry meaning. Perhaps the orcas aren't fighting out of malice, but because it's the only way they can speak. From their perspective, humans have flooded their world with noise, garbage, and destruction. We've taken their food, scarred their bodies, and ignored their silence. Maybe this is no longer silence. Maybe it's a message. You've gone too far. This is our home. Enough. As we try to interpret their actions, maybe we need to stop asking whether orcas feel like us, and instead ask whether we've ever truly respected how they feel. The ocean isn't just a place to explore, it's a home to beings with minds, emotions, and cultures of their own. For too long, we've treated the sea as if we were alone in it. But we're not. And with each boat that sinks, it becomes harder to deny. We've changed the ocean, and the ocean is responding. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to share it. We're only just beginning to uncover what nature has been trying to tell us all along. Let's keep exploring the beauty, mystery, and message of the natural world together.